Good.
You're asking a lot.
Is
I
that
know.
geared toward me?
You believe I said that too out of my mouth?
I
Up through the building, hit me.
was still missing Eric.
Here he is. Hold on. I see him, and Al Hadid's here too. I was doing the live or the YouTube. Eric asked to start his video. Here's Al.
Men's red shirt day. Rick, you didn't get the message.
Okay, I think we're all here and we are streaming live to YouTube, and I'll get my notes together.
I
Maybe.
still got 3 minutes, Penny.
Okay.
This is Al Hadid. You can hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I don't see the video.
Oh, I'm sorry. Here you go.
Oh,
There you are.
the master controller, of course.
I don't see him.
I hear him. I see
I
it.
hear him, but I don't see him.
Yeah, we don't see you, Al. If you got your little screen shutter off.
No. Let me try this. There we
There
go.
you are.
There we go.
Looks like you got my good view of my head there. Of my head. There we go.
That's
A
better.
little better.
What did I do with all my comments?
Penny,
Al,
while
I
you're
have-
looking, Mr. Montgomery, he emailed me, but he copied you. He
Yeah.
emailed both of us. Mr. Andy Montgomery.
Yes,
Yes,
Okay, just want to make sure make sure it came through to you guys.
and I also have your pictures that you sent, and I have them up and I'll share my screen when we get to that point. You just let me know.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And Jade, when we get to number 9, I don't have it on the agenda, but we also need to set dates for
right.
meetings in September.
Yep. I didn't know if we were going to do it then or under staff reports.
No, we can do it then. And I mean, I don't know if you guys are ready, but I'll get my calendar out and I don't know if they're ready to set workshop dates or not. I'll leave that up to Kathleen and Larry if they are to tell me.
Yeah, we need to set workshop days. Sorry, I didn't think to print out an August calendar, but
I'll go grab mine.
okay.
Because if I'm correct, we're doing the workshops during August. We do the public hearings during September.
Right. It's what we usually do.
Okay? I know we still have to schedule my strategic plan meeting too.
Yeah, I wrote that down.
On my list.
I'm meeting with Nancy tomorrow on that too.
Oh, okay.
I've already met with her once, but I'm meeting with her again to kind of finalize on
Good.
what I present to the board.
Okay. Penny, whenever you're ready. I'm sorry. No, I'm not rushing you. I'm just telling you it's 5:30.
I'm just trying to get my public comments in order.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay. You're all set?
yes, ma'am, we're rolling.
This is a regular meeting of the Flagler Beach City Commission. It is Thursday, July 23rd, 2020, and it is 5:31. And we will continue until all items are complete. I'll ask the mayor to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence to honor our veterans, members of the armed forces, and our first responders. Oh, we don't have a flag.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. See,
right.
sorry, I'm
Yes.
looking at one for you. You want me to flip my, here, I'll flip my camera around to look at the flag.
Ah, there it is.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
Flag
of the United
United
States
States
of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
nation,
under God,
God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. And Linda, we have no proclamations or awards, correct? And we have no changes or deletions to the agenda. The
Chair, just
amended-
sorry to interrupt. Penny, I noticed that it looks like we lost Ken. If you want to keep an eye
Oh.
out for him.
Promote. Janelle, you might want to give him a phone call. See if he's okay. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to continue. Larry, we have no changes or deletions to the agenda, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Correct.
So we're up to Mr. Hadid with a update on the dune restoration project.
Yes, good evening, members of the Flagler Beach City Commission and Flagler Beach residents and others who might be watching. We are still going forward, trying to do the best we can to answer all the remaining concerns of property owners who've not executed their easements. So despite the determination communicated to us by the Army Corps of Engineers, we are still trying to get as many easements as we can with the hope that we'll bring them in and communicate to the Corps that we're still making progress so as to allow them to give us a little more leeway. So we're still working very hard in that regard. We received an easement today. There is a glitch in the documentation, which we're going to correct. So that's one easement we hope that we can complete and record. Now, in the course of doing this, I've heard a lot from private individuals who have voiced questions to me that they have heard from others, and we're trying to respond. I'm still attempting to work with the attorney that represents the owners to address as many of their concerns as possible within the parameters that have been expressed both by you as a city commission and also by the county commission. So we're still full bore on this. Now, I do want to say that, as we mentioned before, we are now pretty much in a neighbor to neighbor effort. And we will supplement as much as we can by providing assurances and explanations to allay people's concerns and to bring them to the table to sign the easements and join the community in this program that will protect Flagler Beach more than anything else that we presently have been able to come up with, either financially or planning wise. So that's where we are. Now, what I wanted to do was take one of those issues tonight. I know you've got a important agenda, but this is a way to also communicate to the public. I know these are things you may already know, But one of the most recent issue that has come up has to do with the sand. The concern is, well, what is the beach going to look like? What kind of sand do we have? You have seen the core sampling from the offshore site that we found. As you know, it has the capability to meet all of our needs over the 50-year time frame, as well as all of our construction needs that we have, not just in the Army Corps project, but for the balance of Flagler Beach. So that is a huge find and benefit for us, and it is at no cost. But that sand is coming from 60 feet below sea level. It's approximately 10.5 nautical miles offshore. So typical land miles, that's 12 miles offshore. So that sand is gray. You've seen it's predominantly sand, gray sand. There is some small shell in it, but there's no rock in it. There's no rubble, and there are no organics based on the core borings. Now, what will the beach look like? Okay, the gray sand, people do not want a gray sand beach. So what I've done is taken some photographs from the 12-mile emergency berm project that Flagler County did from Marineland down to Beverly Beach. And I'd like to first show, before you share the screen, let me describe Penny. She's going to share her screen. When we did the 12-mile, we didn't have an offshore site. So we could only choose from sand that had been approved by DEP, and we had to bid it. We ended up, based on our competitive bidding and the permitting, getting white sand mined from Putnam County. Now I want to show you what it looks like. I know you kind of already have a view of what it looks like, but I want to show it to you where we have it stockpiled at the Malacompra Beachfront Park. That's in the hammock, as you know, due east of Captain's Barbecue. Can you display that first photograph?
Is it up?
Yeah, except you need to scroll it down to let them see.
Hold on.
Okay, that's all right. Bingo. Okay, you can see the mat that goes across the dune, and you can see the beach umbrellas. You know which way is the ocean. What you're looking at is a stockpile of what we purchased. Right behind it is a dune that we built with this white sand. I want you to notice the color of it. It's coquina. It is vegetated. And one of the main things which we expected to occur here, is that our coquina sand is going to come onto our beach that we renourish and blend in and eventually come to dominate. Now I want to show you why this is so successful. Can you go to the next slide? Or the next photo, I guess.
Well, which one?
It's the one that shows the vegetation.
Got it?
It's not up yet, but I'm sure it'll get there.
Mm. What is it saying? Hold
But
on.
anyway, I can talk while Penny's doing that. One of the keys to that is, you know, that the sand drift, the drift of the tide brings coquina to our beach. Of course, we also get the material that comes out of the Matanzas Inlet dredge, but nevertheless, we get a lot of coquina. No, that's not the
Hold on.
not the one. Well, in any event, what you're seeing is the lush. You see the vegetation. The vegetation is capturing that coquina sand drift. Can you take me to the next slide? I want to show you the beach
I'm trying.
after it's settled. That's all right.
Is it
Okay,
up?
this is the beach that was restored with the white sand. You can see the predominance of the coquina. It's highly evident. Now, we finished this project in about the middle of 2019. So from then to now, this picture was taken in July of this year, this month. So this is what that beach looks like. You can see that coquina very dominant. And this is what we would expect of Flagler Beach. So I wanted people to know that the natural forces are going to transform the renourished beach into a coquina beach. I also want you to know that the contractor is instructed in this project, the contract specs, the technical specifications, that they are to preserve the natural beach material. They're to take the coquina and stockpile it, put in the fill sand, and add the stockpile coquina on top. So that think of the fill sand. What I mean by the fill sand, that's the offshore sand. That's going to become the base material on which the coquina is added and which it will continue to be added as we go through the typical cycles of our beach. Okay, so you can take me out of these photos. And that's an example of a question that we are answering so people understand what is the ultimate work product that comes out of these efforts and the care that we have taken and the planning that we have taken to do the best we can to preserve the character of Flagler Beach. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Madam Chair, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Al, you know my background, which is geology, first of all.
Yes,
So what we're doing is we're feeding off the Anastasia Formation when it comes to the coquina sand.
correct.
So I do understand that. It seems like DEP originally brought in a lot of the white quartz sand, which is typical for the Gulf Coast. All I'm saying is that I do understand that even though it's because we went through 4 different beach renourishment projects, which is nothing but a maintenance project. And that's what one thing I want everybody to understand. Beach renourishment is not a one-time deal. It's something that you probably have to do every 10 to 15 years because it's like repaving roadways. It's like fixing bridges. It's like anything else you do. It's a maintenance project. So I realize the formation they're feeding off from is the Anastasia Formation. That's where you get the dark coquina sand, which I think, especially for the Atlantic coast, is a good deal because that quartz sand won't last. What it does, it just blows across the road. But we are, just so you'll know, we are talking about sand fencing to help secure and help the dunes rebuild themselves. But one thing I did want to ask as we're moving forward with these people that are not willing at this point in time to sign the easements over, I guess the question is, what can we do to let those people know exactly the financial benefit they're getting? Because every cubic yard of sand that they're going to get outside of even mobilization, because we all know that's going to be expensive. Outside of mobilization, maybe we can help as a city or as a city manager, because people need to understand is that what they're asking for with their property to sign this over, what they're getting in return right now, is pretty expensive. I mean, beach renourishment is not a cheap thing. And so without even going down that path of here's what you're going to cost Flagler Beach by not participating, but here's what you're getting in return. I just wanted to get your thoughts, Al, on that. I just want to throw that out there.
Yes, I took the gross construction project cost, including the sand. We have to bring the sand in. The sand itself is zero value. We do not have to pay for the sand. That's courtesy of the United States government, but we have to bring it to shore. So that's part of that cost. I took the average 50-foot lot. They're not all 50-foot lot, but I tried to do a calculation based on the average 50-foot lot and the construction value all in with design, with construction, including the sand, the planting of the vegetation, the period of time that the vegetation is studied for stabilization. That is $183,000 all in. And that is without valuing the 50-year maintenance, repair, and renourishment period. So that's just for the construction from design to the conclusion of the construction,
Not-
183,000.
And not to mention now, if they allow us to do this, that means we can come back and do it after a major disaster. And that's what, and so the point being is that they're not just allowing us to do something that's going to benefit them plus potentially beachgoers, but it also, by allowing us to do this during this point in time, it allows us, if we get hit with another declared storm, that we can replace it, and it won't be a cost to the homeowner. It won't be a cost to the city.
Or the county.
And I'm sure that's been expressed to the people. Like I say, you probably have talked to the attorneys over in Tampa or wherever they're at. And I just want to make sure that's being conveyed to the property owners that look at what you're getting. Outside of cash, look at what you're getting. And also look at what you're getting in the long term by allowing us to make your piece of property an engineered beach. So I don't know. I don't know what else I can do to help and how we can convey this message. But sometimes I feel like they're looking at it short term over long term, but long term, these people can really be giving up a lot. Am I correct?
That they can be what?
They can really be giving up a lot because once they allow us to do this, that means we can come back and do it at any point in time once there's a natural disaster.
That's correct. Actually, it's like a limited warranty,
It is.
a replacement warranty.
Yeah, well, I just kind of want to throw that out there for anybody that might be listening besides just the people on the screen, is that the benefit farly outweighs where they're at right now.
I think Rick wanted to, Rick, did you want to say something?
Jane,
Yeah, I
I'm
see.
sorry, Eric needs to get back in on the meeting. I'm trying to talk to Penny.
Oh,
Out.
She's coming.
Okay.
Where's Eric at? Has he been blackballed?
anyway, while we're doing that, Rick, did you have your hand up before?
No, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Anybody else want to make a comment to Al? We'll wait for Eric to come on.
I asked him to start video. There he is.
Oh, there he is.
Eric,
you
Al,
have to unmute yourself. Okay. There you go. Eric, did you want to ask Al Hadid anything?
No questions, thank you.
Okay. Anybody?
Al, the funding, what's the amount of funding for that 2.6 miles? If I may ask.
All in is a little over 25 million.
So we have people
All
out there.
sources.
So we have people out there that can actually jeopardize that $25 million. Is it in jeopardy? It's not the fault of the county, in my opinion, but we have $25 million on the line that we're getting from the feds.
And we did make a conscious decision not to pursue eminent domain proceedings to take their property interest for two significant reasons. One is the amount of time it would take to go through the court process. And remember what the pandemic has done to our court process.
Yeah,
So the timelines have been substantially extended. So that's one. And number two is the expense. You have to have lawyers, you have to have appraisers, possibly engineers as expert witnesses. That's a very substantial expense when what we're looking at, what we believe to be very nominal value in the right for us to be able to perform this project, to give them land where really in estimation, there is no land. It's just whatever dune was there is gone. It's been scoured away. Their dune, their land begins outside of the rock revetment. They do not own any of the rock revetment area. So it was a benefit without compromising their view or compromising their access. And so we made the decision that we want all of the money, that is all of the money that is granted to us by the Army Corps to go toward construction.
Absolutely. And Madam Chair, I'm sorry, I know I'm taking up a lot of the time, but how has your conversations been now with, is it one law firm that basically is representing these last holdouts, or is it multiple law firms?
No, there's only one law firm that's been involved from the start.
Have you had communication with them? Do they
Oh,
understand?
yes. Including
Okay.
today.
I'm sure I know you do your due diligence, Al, so forgive me for asking the question, but I had to.
Not a problem.
And where are they at?
Well, what I'm attempting to do now is to identify the issues that they're concerned about, the non-monetary issues that they're concerned about, and to address those in a way that is satisfactory to them. I have conveyed to the attorney that both governments, the county commission and the city commission, have said every time that I've raised the issue that the governments believe that we should not be paying for property interests in this project. That's been the consistent theme, and I have explained that. So now what we're attempting to do is to see if we can resolve some of their issues. For example, the easement uses the word public beach. And as I know you're aware, you have declared customary use of the public for the beach, which means that the dry sand portion of the beach is available, what they call the towel area, the dry towel area, where people can drop their towels and they can enjoy the beach and they can move north to south along the beach, that the owner cannot impede that flow. That's by law. So they are not surrendering any of their property to the public other than as already embodied in your code, as well as the county code. So that is an example of one of them, that they still have dominion over their property. They can still traverse their property. They can move and use their property to get to the ocean and to get back to their house, that those rights remain. When the easement uses the word public beach, I mean, it's used out of a context of a lot of other words. There is a natural concern. Well, what does that mean? Does that mean the public can now come on my dune? One person said, one of those owners said, well, that means they can come and they can plant sea grapes, and then the sea grapes will grow, and then now my view is impaired. And I have emphasized that that is not the case. Does not authorize a public trespass of their lands outside of the requirements that we've already laid out.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. So one last chance. Anybody have anything to ask about? All right, Al, thank you for your wonderful presentation as
Thank you.
always. And thanks for keeping up the good fight. I know we have some wonderful people in town that are working very hard to get there.
Very much so.
Yeah, and I want to thank them as well. So thank you.
You did have one public comment on that, Chair.
Okay, I was getting to that. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. It was from Andy Montgomery. He says, thank you for working with me to resolve my issues with signing the easement for my A1A parcel. Your policy revisit allowed me to sell my oceanfront to a resident who intends to build a walkover. My experience within our current city leadership has always been fair and just, even if we had differences. My belief is that our city government has the best interest of our citizens as their driver. As a property owner in Flagler for 3 decades, I fully support our Dunes project and encourage all property owners to sign the easement so Flagler can move forward with this critical project.
Penny, if I may ask, is that the gentleman that had the 2 lots that weren't contiguous?
I don't know. It's from a
Yeah.
Mr. Andy
No, he
McGowan.
only had one that he had owned for a long time, and
That, yeah,
he
okay.
he was upset that he could not build on it, or he thought he could not build on it, and we were able to work everything out for him.
Okay, just
And
wanted,
that's what got him to sign.
I'm glad we made him happy.
Yeah,
That's the guy that spoke up at the church.
yes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's what I was asking. Well, good for him.
Okay, I guess we are done with the Dunes project for today. So thank you, Al, again.
Hey, Penny, Ken is calling in right now. He can't
Dropping.
unmute himself.
All right. He's
I'm unmuted.
yes, you're on. I'm gonna cancel the video connection you had. You can try again if you like, but you're on via the phone.
Okay, I'm on by a phone.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll just go ahead and use the phone for listening and watch, and I'll use the TV for watching, or the computer.
All right, before we let Al go, Ken, did you have any comments or questions?
No, I've been listening to him the entire time, and I've been watching him. I just couldn't. You just couldn't hear me, and I was listening through my phone.
Yeah, I saw
Oh,
you had
okay.
the phone in your hand, yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't have any, you don't have any,
I'll try to, no, I don't have it. I'm gonna try to get the video back up where I can use the video on the computer and use the phone for the audio. How's that?
if it works for you, sure.
We'll get through that.
Al, we did get 2 questions, one from Scott Fox. I'm late to the party, but do we have a definitive asking price for each of these properties in search of money? And Johnny Lujaraj wants to know how many are left to sign.
The last definitive price that was quoted to us was $25,000 per property by the attorney representing the property owners. And I'm sorry, what was Johnny's question? I'm sorry.
How many left?
How many are left?
13. Well, if we're able to perfect the easement we got today, that'll be 12.
Okay.
They want 25,000 for the east side,
Yes,
which means 20,000 goes to the attorney, right?
well, I believe it was 5,000.
Okay.
Okay, so those questions are answered. Okay, now I think we are done with this issue for today. So again, Al, thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll move on to comments regarding items not on the agenda. And Penny, the only one I had.
I have 2 from Paul Harrington, and
Okay.
I have one more that came in email that I think I just forwarded to you guys. Pull it up. So one I have from him is meetings should be open to the public who take appropriate precautions to keep the distance and where necessary face protection. Mandatory Zoom and YouTube formats do not give the public a reasonable opportunity and a proper discourse that may be critical to resident taxpayers' rights. This format opens up the possibility for public comment to be taken out of context, limits encourage engagement, and infringes upon the rights of every citizen. Turn the commission altar around to the chamber windows, set up the tent, and put the podium outside and let the citizens assemble there so they can address the commission face to face. On items of concern, it is incumbent upon the city to make every effort to engage the residents in a reasonable fashion. And then he wrote back, it's great that you have set up the Zoom and YouTube platform for those who come to meetings or find it more comfortable to view from home. You can add that to my comment so no one thinks you don't appreciate what you do. And then I believe I have one more, bear with me. This one is from Paul Allen. I am writing this email to express my strong opposition to the proposed tax. We'll save that one for number 9.
Number 9.
Yes. Never mind. That, I think that's all I have for general public comment.
Okay, thank you. Just in response to those who heard Mr. Harrington, just want to catch everybody up. Quite a while back, the governor issued one of his gazillion executive orders, number 69. And in that is where he gave us the ability to meet via Zoom. I don't believe any of us should have to put ourselves in a position where we can get sick if we don't have to. And then we got an email, if everybody saw it already, from Bob Snyder, where he recommends that we continue meeting this way until, I forget when he said, but for a while. So I'm perfectly comfortable that we're doing this until we can come up with something stronger about people wearing masks. Does anybody else have a comment that they'd like to make on that? Seeing none, and if that was the only public comment, then we'll move on to number 8, which is the health insurance. Liz? You have to unmute yourself, Liz.
I did it. There she goes. Are you up now?
Yay.
Okay,
Yeah, she's up.
this is to approve a one-year agreement for Florida Healthcare and Florida Blue. It is a 6.5% increase from last year. And we're also looking to approve another one-year agreement with Florida Life, Florida Life, 0% increase. We were just trying to continue during this period kind of uncertainty, keep all of our health plan employees, health plan and plan design, to keep everything consistent, and with just a 6.5% increase, we're keeping that cost down.
Does anybody have any questions or comments of Liz? All right, seeing none, look for a motion.
Jane,
Oh, I'm sorry. Who's calling me? Eric? Eric.
Jane, I got a general comment. I can barely hear some of the meeting attendees. I couldn't even make out that presentation, and I'm also having trouble hearing you at times too. I guess if everybody could speak up, because I didn't get anything on the last presentation.
Okay, well, basically what Liz did, can you hear me better now? Okay, I'm trying to speak louder. Basically what Liz did was repeat what it said in the agenda item in the packet, that we got a 0.5% increase on the health insurance with Florida Blue, and a 0 increase on the dental and life insurance for the coming year. And she said that she didn't want, or didn't think we should have the employees have to change insurance plans while we're in this pandemic time because of having to possibly change doctors in the middle and all that kind of stuff. Okay?
If I may chime in, one thing I did want to mention, I think can be discussed, I guess, during the budget cycle, is nothing that's been produced, but if you look at the county commission compared to my commission, something I'd like for you guys to think about, whether you want to do it or not, I want you to think about it. Is so you can give me an answer, is that does the city of Flagler Beach want to, and Kathleen, you can chime in on this. The city of Flagler Beach, they want to set up insurance for the commission because it's not like you guys make a whole lot of money, but it's just something of food for thought. If you want to be part of our insurance program as a commission, again, coming from a county, they always had that option. In the city, you don't.
We can discuss that during the budget time, Larry.
Absolutely. I'm just throwing it out there since that was, insurance was on the list. But I'll
Okay,
bring it up during budget.
okay. Kathleen,
Yes.
I guess we'll talk about it during the budget, I guess.
Yeah.
What Larry just talked about. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Erica, you hearing better now?
It's a little better.
Okay. Anybody have any questions to ask Liz? If not, did we get any public comment on that one, Penny?
No, ma'am.
All right, so this was the consent agenda since the minutes were removed. So I'll look for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion that we approve item number 8 of the consent agenda.
I'll second it.
Ken, I think Ken seconded it.
Good. Commissioner Phillips,
Yes.
Commissioner Bellhumeur,
Yes.
Commissioner Cooley,
Yes, the motion.
Commissioner Bryan.
Yes, I hope you're hearing me.
Yes, sir. And Chair Mealy.
Okay.
Yes. So that passes 5-0. Now we go on to item number 9, which is setting the tentative mill rate. And Kathleen, I guess you're gonna do that, or Larry?
Larry?
Do you want me to take the point on this?
Sure.
First of all, we are doing a tentative mill rate. Kathleen, correct me if I'm wrong, it's like 5.8. Let me go and be very, very clear. Just like I've told every commissioner I've talked to, is my goal, my hard set goal is that we don't go up on the millage. Do I want to do rollback? The answer is no. But that's up to the board during the budget cycle. So I do want to set a tentative mill rate just in case, because you can always go backwards, but you can't go forward. So there's a tentative mill rate that we're asking for. To be very clear, I still going to work very, very hard with Kathleen and my managers. I really want to stay exactly where we're at today. That's my goal.
Kathleen, can you explain to the public what this trim thing is that we're doing?
I'm sorry, what the
Can you explain the Yeah, why are we voting tonight on a tentative mill rate?
Okay, so the Florida Department of Revenue oversees TRIM process, which stands for Truth in Millage, and it's been around ever since I've been finance director. I'm not sure how long it's been in process, but basically they're the oversight board that checks all the different things that we do related to setting a mill rate and the budget, you know, and how we advertise our budget, how we, you know, different hearings and things like that that we hold. And so by August 4th, the city commission needs to approve a tentative mill rate, which, as Mr. Newsom said, it's, you know, we set it as high as we think we would ever go, because, and you can go beyond it, but it's a huge expense. This is the mill rate that you will see when the county mails out that little envelope that you get that said, this is not a bill, but this is what your taxes might be. That is where this rate goes. And it also advertises the date of the first meeting in budget hearing in September.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so we are being asked to approve a tentative mill rate, which again, we cannot, when we meet for our workshops and our hearings, go beyond. But we can certainly, and I know that we will work hard to come down to last year's mill rate, or some other number, but we can't go beyond 5.8. So, I'm sorry,
I was
Kathleen.
just going to say, I didn't know if you wanted me to review the different rates and definitions.
Yes, please.
Okay. So when this time of year comes around, you hear a lot of different terminology. One of them is called rollback. Rollback is a rate that we set that produces the exact same amount of money that was in the current 1920 budget. And the most important thing to remember about mill rate and their changes is that just because a mill rate goes up does not necessarily mean that your property tax increases. There's a lot of different variables to it. It's the rate. So the rate is multiplied by your value. So your value is the thing that controls more of what you pay. So last year's operating mill rate was 5.571. The rollback rate would be 5.285. That would be the amount, the number that would produce the same amount of taxes. Our tentative mill rate is set at 5.8. And then we have another setting called the majority vote, which is in our city would be the highest the rate could go through to with 3 commissioners are approving, and that is 5.45. And then we have the highest that we can go to without every commissioner approving would be 6.0. So you can see we set our tentative mill rate kind of in the middle of all that. Okay.
Comments, questions? Debbie?
I just have a quick question for Kathleen. Can you tell me, do you know what the county's mill rate is?
The county is, I didn't write it down, but I think it was 8.12 or 21. It's the same mill rate as they had last year. Did not roll back. They're staying at the same rate.
Staying, okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Rick?
All right, and I guess everybody knew I was going to say something. Larry did tell us last year that we were pretty much caught up from the past, not keeping up in the past. I just think that in these times the way they are, that you know, with the pandemic going on and so forth, that for once here in the recent past, in recent times, maybe we could look for budget cuts as opposed to expanding. I think it would send a message if we were to make this tentative millage rate the same rate as it was last year, and then everybody would know that at least it wouldn't be beyond that. That's what I would. We can all be heroes if we go back to rollback. And I think we can find some places that it's, everybody got raises last year. Most everybody. I mean, there's a couple of the enterprise funds that didn't really get caught up, but that doesn't affect the millage rate. I just think that we ought to try and make some budget cuts as opposed to raising taxes.
Okay,
That's my
anybody
thoughts.
else?
It's Ken Bryant.
Okay, Ken.
Yeah, I understand that, times are pretty tough, but it's also pretty tough for the city too. I'd love to see the millage roll back, but by the same token, when I've been looking at the budget and all, I think the city is still trying to play catch up from years ago of not increasing things. So, I mean, if we can kind of keep things where they are without increasing the taxes, I think we'd be better off as far as the millage rate and all is concerned. I mean, one of the things I've been talking to Mr. Newsom about is, and we'll discuss this during the budget, is actually seeing what other kinds of things we can do in order to work on some revenue streams so that we can, in fact, in future years, roll back the taxes, because as we discussed before, the city residents are carrying the load for a lot of guests to come to the beach and this kind of thing here, which all impacts our budget. So as far as, rolling it back, I'd love to see that happen, but by the same token, I don't want to get back in a position where we're trying to play catch up for a number of years or so as well, because that's what's happening with the water rates right now. They were kept at a steady pace for so many years, and now we're trying to play catch up, and residents are going to see the next 3 to 5 years of increases. So I think it would be wise to kind of stay where we are, but we can also discuss this during the budget time.
All right, thank you. Eric? Eric?
Okay. Okay.
Hi.
So for multiple years, we have been asking the citizens to help out the city with all the things that we needed to catch up on, and also hurricane and everything else. I think this is the year that the city needs to help out the citizens. With everything that is going on, we have at the federal level, there's all kinds of aid packages coming down to help the citizens. The state level has aid packages coming down to citizens.
Well, Eric, can you stop for a minute? Eric, can you stop for a minute? You're very static. Penny, is there something we can do?
He can call in and maybe try and see if that would work better.
All right, Eric, I'm trying very hard to get what you're saying, and I'm getting like every other word. Not because you're not loud enough, but because it's very staticky.
Your signal's bad. Sorry. There's a phone number on the front cover of the agenda, Eric. Would you like me to read it out? I can read it to you if you'd like. Let's see. So call into. I'm sorry.
Is that the 312-626-6799?
I'm sorry, bear with me 1 second. It's on my invitation.
The number I called in on, Penny, was 312-626-6799.
And that's it. Yes, sir. Did you get that, Eric?
Okay. Technology.
Great when it works right.
Is that you 3294326919? I think that's him. Is that you, Eric?
Y'all hear me okay?
That's much better.
Loud and clear.
Okay.
All right, start all over again. If
Sorry
you
about that. The
remember,
connection is terrible. Let me mute my computer here. All right, so y'all can hear me all right, right? Correct?
Yes, now we hear you.
All right, this is a little adjustment for me. All right, so the last number of years, we have been asking the citizens to step up and help out the city, and we needed to get caught up on a lot of projects due to mismanagement. We needed to repair a lot of hurricane damage. There was all kinds of things that we've needed to do over the years. I think this is the year that we as a city need to help our citizens out. With everything that's going on, we have at the national level, there's all kinds of federal aid packages coming down to help citizens. The state has aid packages coming down to help citizens, and you know, with the employment and everything else the way it is, I don't think it is proper for us to do anything that involves putting our hand out asking for more. I do have a problem with even asking for the same. I think this year taxes do need to go down. And what I would suggest setting the trim at is setting it at last year, or I guess you would say this year's number plus rollback, which means your ceiling is we are not going to raise taxes, period. And we set that as the high number, and then we can look at it from there. But I don't think that taxes should go up anything this year with everything that is going on and all the problems our citizens are having with employment and everything like that. It's a contradiction. If all levels of government are helping our citizens out, we need to do the same thing here at the town level and at the city level.
Okay. Did everybody have a chance to talk? That wants to? All right. My feeling is that I agree that we should not be raising taxes, but I think without having seen the budget, I don't know how we can make that statement. We are not aware of what costs are going to be. We just had a 6.5% increase in our insurance, which is really a good increase. I would have anticipated at least 10%. I think that I need to see what this proposed budget is before I can make any statement about never raising taxes. So I'm willing to go along with the proposed mill rate. And then when we have our workshops, we can cut where we think it's appropriate without hurting the city. We went through 5 years of we can't do this and we can't do that, and then we had to catch up. And that looked very bad for taxes. We had to catch up. So we're really in a bind here because we have not seen the budget yet. So that's my feeling. Anybody else want to say anything?
This is Commissioner Bryan.
Hi, go ahead.
Yeah, Kathleen, on the average, do we have a general idea about how much each household would incur in savings if we did roll it back? I guess we could discuss that during budget time.
We can look at that during budget time. You know, again, it's
okay.
just such a hard thing to figure, you know, because everybody has a different situation.
A little different. Okay, all right, just a consideration so that, you know, people don't think that we're just completely dismissing it. But I think as good stewards of the funds, you know, to look out for the city as well as the taxpayers, we need to just, you know, sharpen the pencils, look at it, and see whether or not it's something that we can, you know, reasonably do, because the city has also lost a lot of revenue, you know, during this COVID time. Even though we do look and we anticipate some dollars coming down from the feds, as shaky as things are in Washington, D.C. right now, I don't want to guarantee anything until we, you know, see the proof in the pudding and then get to our budget workshops.
Okay.
I think Kathleen has something, Chair.
I was just gonna comment on the fact that what Commissioner Bryan just said is that, yes, we are losing quite a bit of revenue on our state tax dollars are different streams that come from the state. They don't even have, normally on a normal budget cycle, I think it's the EDR that does all the estimates for the state revenues. They don't even have those ready. And I have, just from looking at our current year, seen significant decrease to our infrastructure tax, our communication service tax, ones that are based on sales taxes, the half-cent tax, all those. So yes, the budget is reflecting about a 50% decrease to those revenue streams. And the other thing I was going to say about the mill rate, going to roll back does not necessarily guarantee that you're going to pay the same taxes, because again, it's the rate. So if your property, if you're not homesteaded, let's just say, and your property increased 10%, then you are still going to pay more at the rollback rate. Just so that I clarify that a little bit. But again, we have all this fun stuff for budget workshops.
Kathleen, isn't that the idea of the rollback rate? I mean, it factors in the added value, property value. Am I incorrect in saying that?
It does, and it does. Again, it's like they say, there's just no average Joe, average thing that you can look at when it comes to this. But for people that property increase, yes. I mean, if everybody's property, it's like the rollback rate based on the whole lump sum that we got. So if everybody's property value went up 10%, then it would be true. But some people's property value might have gone up 15 or 20, and some people's might have not gone up at all. So that's what makes it so different and special. Sorry, I didn't mean to make it more.
Am I incorrect in saying that the property taxes can only go, or the property values can only go up 10% a year, even on unhomesteaded properties?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right, it's 3% on homesteaded and 10% on non-homesteaded.
Correct.
It's the maximum your property value can go up each year.
Taxable value. Mm-hmm.
Right, okay.
Madam Chair, can I chime in real quick?
Sure.
Okay, first of all, I do understand that, yes, property values go up. What everybody has to understand is that cost of doing business goes up as well. So when I'm trying to do a project, it goes up in a percentage for business. So if you just focus on the property value, okay, well, so let's just say Flagler Beach, $400,000. And I don't know where I got that from, but somebody told Pierre. All I'm saying is, say the property values for Flagler Beach, we go up $400,000. At the same token, the asphalt, concrete, labor, and everything also goes up. So that when you look at a revenue estimating, everybody needs to understand it costs, everything goes up. So I'm not trying to say roll back. That's what the board wants to do, but I'm just saying that minimum wage goes up and all the other things it takes for us to do business, for all of us, that goes up in cost too. So that's why I discourage rollback. Only because I say if we maintain the existing millage rate that we have today, you're not doing what I've been doing for the last 3 years, trying to catch up. All I'm trying to do is maintain stability. Rollback does not maintain stability. Rollback, to me, is what you're doing is you're making money that at the cost of everything else to do business. And that's all I'm going to say.
Thank you. Anybody else? let's remember, we're only setting the tentative rate that we will have at least 2 workshops to go through the book that we get, to look at every item, and then we can cut from there. And if the majority still wants to go to rollback at that time, after we've looked at the numbers, then I think that's the time to set that kind of a rate.
Absolutely.
I'm in agreement with that, Jane.
I'm sorry?
I'm in agreement with that, yes.
Thank you, Debbie. All right, no further comments?
You want your
Then-
public comments?
Yeah, I know we have quite a
After
few.
public comment, maybe.
Do you want to read them, Penny? Or?
This is from Steve Daly. I'm requesting that at least no tax increase due to COVID shutdown.
Penny, we can't
Penny,
understand.
it's hard to hear you.
Let me get in here.
Yeah, that's better.
I am requesting that at least no tax increase due to COVID shutdowns, and more importantly, do a tax decrease. This is being done by all due the issue. Cut back the very basic city needs at this time. This should be a no-brainer decision. Why would a city manager not understand this? Citizens and business owners have to cut back at times. The next one is from Chuck Sartoris. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name. I'm a full-time resident of Flagler Beach on a fixed income and concerned about increases of our taxes. According to item 9 on this week's agenda, the proposed tax is a 4.11% increase over last year. I have a few questions concerning that increase. 1, recent years' inflation rates have been 1.9 for 2018, 2.3 for 2019, and a projection of 0.8 for 2020. Why is the proposed increase higher than inflation rates? 2, the mill rate has gone up several times in recent years. Is there a reason that Flagler Beach needs to increase its budget beyond the inflation rates? 3, what are the spending plans for and the next one is from Harriet and Randy Pritchard. The full-time residents of Flagler Beach on a fixed income and are concerned about the rate that our taxes have been going up. To item 9 on this week's agenda, the proposed mill increase is a 4.11% increase over last year's rate. We have 3 questions concerning the increase. It's the same ones I just read, but I'll read them again. Recent years' inflation rates have been 1.9 for 18, 2.3 for 19, and a forecast of 0.8 for 2020. Why is the proposed increase so much higher than these inflation rates? 2, our mill rate has gone up several times in recent years. Is there a reason that the city of Flagler Beach has increased its budget beyond the inflation rate per year? 3, what are the plans for this newly generated money? Thank you for considering our question. Next one's from Diana Lemon. I'm against another tax increase. Let us recover from how the virus has devastated many of us. Diana Lemon. And just to follow up on that one, she actually lives in an unincorporated Flagler County. And I did write her back to advise her that the Flagler Beach millage rate does not affect her tax bill. The next one is from Care Paget. We are a 2-person home living in the city full-time, retiree income. Our taxes have gone up every year since we built our home, and these constant yearly increases are going to tax people right out of their homes. There are retirees here on fixed income who will not be able to afford to continue living here. If leaving our mill rate at the current rollback rate will produce the same amount of revenues as the prior year, why do we need a tentative increase to be set so high? Once we received information about the proposed millage rate increase, we were very upset, to say the least. To even think about increasing our taxes after everyone just came through a near complete shutdown, which affected everyone's ability to pay their bills, buy food, and set aside money for property taxes, caused me even concern. After receiving an email from Penny Overstreet, I understand that the tentative mill rate increase is set so that it can be lowered at a later date if you find the increase is not necessary. But I have concerns about that as well. What happened from last year to present to make the city manager feel the proposed increase is necessary? To quote City Manager Larry Newsom from an article in Flagler Live, in September of 19, when explaining the need for an increase in mill rate. This is going to level out from this point going forward. The pain of growing has reached its plateau. There was a call then by Commissioner Kim Carney to hold a town hall meeting to discuss the proposed increase with the citizens of Flagler Beach. I would also like to request here. If you set it higher than what you expect, but then at the last minute want to make that increase up just a bit, do you have to put citizens responsible for paying that increase? If during your budget meetings, you propose the purchase of something that the general public doesn't agree with, you then just get to make that purchase and thereby increase our mill rate without negotiation? What is the procedure? I would also like to know how much money we currently have in our general fund, and will the mill rate increase if approved by the commission go specifically to the general fund or somewhere else? Thank you for your time. And the next one is Paul Harrington. With revenues on the rise, we should be rolling back the millage rate, not raising it. We need to sharpen the pencil to find areas that can be trimmed, set aside adequate reserves, and make serious efforts to generate revenue to offset expenses. For services not to the residents of Flagler Beach. Last year, we were assured we had reached a plateau. Still more revenues are being generated with new homes, renovations, and residential sales. It is time to follow through. And that's all I have.
We got a couple others. One was from a Steve Bailey. They said pretty much the same thing. Victor Corrigan and April Sparkman.
I have the one from the Steve, Mr. Bailey. I have it here.
Yeah, you just sent it to us today.
Sorry. Okay. From Mr. Paul Allen. Dear Mayor and Commissioners, I'm writing this email. I'll try to get over here. To express my strong opposition to the proposed tax increase by the city manager, Larry Newsom, and Kathleen. As many of us taxpayers are on a fixed income, you as the city officials must vote to rein in the excessive spending. According to the Daytona Beach News Journal article dated September 27, 2019, city promise this is going to level out from this point going forward. The pain of growing the plateau. COVID-19 pandemic severely affected our economy, and as such, I strongly urge the city manager and commissioners to start cutting back on ridiculous 8% salary increases and other unnecessary spending. Capital expenditures need to be scrutinized, and the fire truck purchase should be placed on hold. That's from Paul Allen. Jane, did you say you have another one? Because I believe that's all I have.
Yeah, no, there was the one from Steve Daly. Did you just, that was in, you sent us a few things in one group today.
I think I read his.
All right, then there was also Victor Corrigan and April Sparkman.
Those came from me?
I don't know if they were sent to you. I've got it here. The Victor Corrigan wrote, I am totally opposed to this proposed tax increase. How can the city even consider an increase during these difficult times? An increase to the general fund is just a slush fund with no strategy or plan. How about a budget reduction plan? There's no inflation. It's absolutely ridiculous. And so that was his. And then April Sparkman. I'm a property owner. She gives her address since March 92. Please vote against increasing our taxes, especially putting more dollars in the general fund. We need a better water system more than anything else. our water is horrible and water bills keep increasing. We, the people, need your help and deserve your support. And those are the ones that I know about. Kathleen, can you review what goes in the general fund, please? Because people seem to think there's just this fund that we throw money into and spend it willy-nilly. And I've responded to each of these people, but I think we could go over it with everybody.
Well, just basically looking at the summary, sorry, I'm trying to pull that up right now. So, you know, the majority of money that our citizens pay to Flagler Beach goes to public safety, transportation. Some goes to, so it's basically our police, our fire, our departments, then your general government services, which includes your commission, the administrative piece, includes the city manager, finance, city clerk. We also have, you know, a small portion that goes to support our museum and library and our parks. And that money that comes from those taxes is solely used for that. We don't use money that comes from utility bills to pay those, and we don't use money that comes from property tax revenue to pay utility bills or to do any other things like that. In this summary that you have right here, one of the things, we are not using current taxpayer dollars to fund any capital purchases. Those are coming out of reserves. I don't know. Did I cover everything for you, Jenny?
Yeah, no, that's great. Thank you.
Mr. Mealy, sorry.
And if we budget money for the Parks Department and we look like we might need more money, less money in the Parks. Whoops. Okay. Well, this is good. I had asked for this, but this doesn't show the breakdown within the general fund. You know, the gentleman that called it a slush fund. So if we schedule money for the Parks Department and we look like we're going to need more money in the
right,
clerk's
yes.
office, the clerk's office, we don't move money from one to the other.
No, we do not. We can move. The only thing that the city manager is allowed to approve is to, like, for instance, in the finance department, if I had a computer go down and I hadn't budgeted enough money to replace it, I might say, can I move a little bit of money from my office supplies? I'll try to turn back on office supplies next year so that I can purchase this computer. But if something bad goes wrong in parks, no, I finance department is, we don't transfer money, only within the department.
I just wanted to get that out there because from what I saw in some of these comments, there was not that understanding. So thank you. Rick?
All right, Kathleen just said that capital purchases don't come from the general fund. That we've been typically most recently anyway, been paying for them from reserves. Now reserves are funded by the general fund. Am I correct?
Well, what I was saying is that, and I probably didn't say it correctly, I meant that the capital purchases that are written in this budget not coming from the current revenue for admin taxes. But yes, they could have come from things like that. The reserves are made of very many different things. And we only use, under Mr. Newsom's direction, we only use reserves for capital projects, not for operations, not for salaries or anything like that.
Yeah, Kathleen, let me ask a question if I may. Madam Chair. I want to ask a question. Where do we set right now in our general fund reserves?
I knew you were going to ask that question. I did not come prepared with an exact amount.
Good or bad?
Good. If I had to, I mean, our last audit, we have enough in reserves to cover about 97% of our annual budget. So that's really good.
Which means if we get hit by a hurricane, we have reserves to take care of this city. Do I like using general fund reserves for capital? Absolutely not. But it is a one-time purchase. And if that's going to be what I'm criticized for, so be it. But I'm not going to use it for recurring costs. But sometimes you may use it for a one-time purchase. And we do try to put money back. But I would tell you, based on a budget for a city, you can't have too robust of a general fund reserve, because that means you're not using the people's dollars to take care of them. I'm not spending money to spend money. I'm spending money because we have to. And I'll use general fund reserves as a one-time purchase. I won't use them for salaries. Right? But if you look at our general fund reserves, and I had a conversation with the clerk of the court with the county. You know, as far as the city of Flagler Beach, we're not in bad shape at all. And quite frankly, being on the Atlantic coast, I'm always going to make sure your general fund reserves are going to be fluent, because I got to pay debris trucks. I got to pay monitoring. I got to pay whatever it takes to clean up this city until we get reimbursed. And Kathleen and I talked about that. One thing I will tell you, our general fund reserves are probably in better shape than anybody else in Flagler County. So I've only been doing this for 25 years. I don't try to exhaust our general fund reserves for whatever reason that somebody thinks. I try to use our general fund reserves in the most fluent way we can use them. But I don't do it without consultation from my budget. So Kathleen.
Sir.
Are we in good shape?
Or yes, as you know, I would say we haven't exhausted 20% of our reserve between last audit and this year. So yes, I would say we are in excellent shape for a city.
Thank you.
Can I finish my thoughts, please?
Sure.
Larry, that was not a direct criticism to you. He's mentioning that. I just want to make sure that people out there understand how these funds do move around in some cases.
Whoa.
You know, and
Before you go further, what do you mean by funds move around?
Between the general fund and the reserves, my apologies. I just made the same mistake. So, however, you know, we've always been a modest spending city, and it seems like some of these things are getting pretty fancy that we end up buying. Most recently would be the new claw truck that we got that has you know, aluminum wheels and polished stainless steel tanks and so on. But that came out of the a different fund. But we do have a request for a fire truck coming that's going to come from these reserves. I don't know. I just think that we're spending more than we really have to, and there's room to make a few cuts and give people a break for a year.
And
especially on a really.
We can do that during the workshops.
All right, Jane.
You know, when we're actually looking at a line item that says X amount of dollars, it's not that I'm not willing to cut. I just don't know what we're cutting because we don't have the budget yet. Anybody else? Penny, I'm sorry. Who's trying to talk?
Ken.
Ken Bryan.
Ken, okay.
Yeah. Madam Chair and commissioners, and of course, all of the folks that are out there listening, I encourage everyone to try to make an effort to make it to the workshops, so that, everyone has a better understanding of where the dollars go. And I apologize for my cat right here, just snuck in here. But they need to attend these workshops so they can see how the dollars are being spent, where they're going. One of the things that we had at our last commission meeting was an audit, which basically helps to explain and it helps people to understand that we can't just nilly-dilly just move dollars around indiscriminately without being accountable for them. So, again, I encourage everyone to come out and attend these workshops so that they can participate, they can see what we're doing and see that we're being good stewards of the dollars. And I know this is, I'm kind of new to this particular board here, but I'm not new to the budget process and how to spend government dollars, or I should say citizens' dollars, my dollars, your dollars, and everyone's dollars. So, come out and let's participate in these workshops when we start them. That's all I have, Madam Chair.
Okay. Penny, we had 2 unanswered questions from Johnny Lujaraj. Did you see those? Did I lose Penny? Oh. Hi. You're muted, Penny.
I know. Do you have any more comments? Is that the question?
No, we had 2 questions from Johnny Lujaraj.
Yeah, I saw those. I'm trying to figure out how to turn those off. Thought I did. Can we try and be creative like Grant Wider, short-term rentals, even a GoFundMe at this point, rather than taxes? I appreciate the comments from our city manager to hold off on raising them, but on some creative, efficient moves. And he also said some things got to give if we won't find a new creative and efficient ways, then we'll eventually have to raise taxes, but something has to give.
Okay. Drew, we can't do a GoFundMe page for a city, can we?
I've never even considered it. I think it would present a lot of issues.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm not in favor of that.
I get Johnny's point, that we should look for other ways of getting money, not specifically the ones that he recommended. And again, we can talk about those things during the budget workshops. Anybody else have a comment or a question or?
Now I'd like to make a motion that we set the tentative millage rate at the same operating millage as last year at 5.571.
Is there a second? Okay, dies for lack of a second. Does anybody else want to make a motion?
I'll make a
Somebody
motion
has
to,
Debbie,
I'll make a motion to approve the millage at 5.8%.
Tentative, no, right?
Excuse me, tentatively, yes.
And I'm sorry, I didn't catch the rate you said, Debbie.
Sorry, what?
I didn't catch the rate you said, Debbie.
5.8%.
Is there a second? Ken, are you seconding?
I did, Madam Chair.
Okay. Thank you.
Rick has-
Dane, I think Eric's diligently trying to get through.
Okay.
Did we lose him on this phone?
I think I just got on. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can now. All right.
Okay.
Or did you miss what was happening? Or did you?
I could hear it. I just couldn't respond.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. All right, so should we go back to Rick's, since Eric was out of commission, should we go? Rick made a motion that we set the mill rate at 5.28, is that what you said?
The same as last year is 5.7.
5.571. And there was no second, so it died. Are you looking to second that motion? That's what I'm asking you.
Yes, I would second that motion.
Okay, then we'll go.
Do you have a motion, a seconded motion on the floor would you take a motion to table that so that you can consider the prior motion that Eric was
Okay.
able to second? So a motion
So,
to table Debbie's motion would be appropriate.
all right. So Debbie, since you made the second motion, would you make a motion to table that?
Yes, I'll make a table to motion, my motion to the tentative mill rate at
Or,
5.8%.
Debbie, you can also withdraw your motion for the time being.
Okay, I'll withdraw my motion for the time being.
Okay, so does the second person, the seconder, have to okay that?
Ken, you okay with that?
Ken?
Ken?
Yes. I'm sorry. Yes. Yes.
All right, so we'll go back to Rick's motion and Eric seconded it. Is there any discussion before we vote?
I'd like to have some discussion.
Go ahead.
Yes, the only reason I'm not supporting it is because, mainly because, here again, we still have the budget workshop to go through. I'd like to see what the numbers are like. I'd like to crunch numbers before I make a decision like that, but I'd like to be on the front end where we have the option, because we do still have to look out for the city's finances. And I know that there appears to be the impression that there's a lot of reserves and all, but I just like to have the option of being able to make sure that we're not caught in a bind.
Okay. Anybody else have any comments before we vote? Seeing none, Penny, you want to call?
Before you call that, Penny, just so everybody is clear, since we just had a little bit of confusion there, everybody's clear on what this motion is. This is the motion to set the tentative millage rate at 5.571 for fiscal year 2020-21.
Correct.
Ready?
Yeah.
Commissioner Bellhumor,
Yes.
Commissioner Cooley,
Yes, the motion.
Commissioner Bryan,
No to the motion.
Commissioner Phillips,
No to the motion.
Chair Mealy,
No. Okay, back to Debbie. You want to start over again?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to make the tentative millage rate at 5.8%.
I'll second it.
Any discussion on that before we vote? Seeing none, Penny, you want to start?
Yep, I'm just catching up.
Okay.
Chair Mealy?
Yes, go ahead.
Just for clarification to the public, just to reiterate what our city manager had indicated earlier is that, I think people need to pay close attention to the millage rate itself, which doesn't necessarily equate to an increase in their taxes. But here again, it also gives us the ability to look at, whatever options we need to do in order to make sure that we are staying on track. And I know that in previous years, Mr. Nielsen had made some, comments relative to that we were getting caught up, but a lot of things have changed, not only with the COVID, but also in addition to the population of individuals moving in and the people that we're having to play host to within the city itself. So I mean, as a person looking around at the city and looking at the things that we need to do in order to continue to move forward, I just want to make sure that we have enough revenue coming in. And again, during the budget time, we will be looking at additional revenue streams that we can consider. And those are the things I've been talking to Mr. Newsom about, as well as the lobbyists that we have in Tallahassee, and to see what kinds of things we can do in order to generate additional revenue short of a GoFund page. So just those are the only comments I have at this point.
Okay, Johnny just wrote he was joking.
Madam Chair, if I may, and Commissioner, I appreciate you saying that. I have structural engineers that are going to be looking at the bridge. I know we talked about that.
We'll be looking at what, Larry?
At the bridge that goes over the intercoastal. As far as the potential of tolling the bridge. But most likely, if we're going to toll it, DOT is going to make us take it over. So I'm in firm agreement that we have to find other revenue sources. We have 5,000 taxpayers, but we take care of 40,000. It's no secret to anybody that's on the screen. So I am working very diligently on that. I just want everybody to know. I get it. And Again, I'm gonna say this. A tentative mill rate's not what I'm shooting for. Kathy and I have talked about it. I want to make sure we stay where we're at today. But I think tentative mill rate gives us a cushion as a tentative parentheses to make sure in case we've missed something. You can always go backwards, but you can't go forward. So I do appreciate the board considering that. But that's not where I want to be. The 5.8's not where your city manager, based on emails, that's not where I want to be at the end of the day when we go through the workshops. I'm done.
Okay. Anybody else have anything to say?
Chair, if I could just make one comment for, just so everybody is clear and everybody also understands the process going forward. As you've said multiple times, this is the tentative millage rate, but agenda packets for any members of the public that have looked at it, there is included in the memo for this item, the vote threshold that would be required for the final vote. And this millage rate would be, this millage rate would be in the super majority range of that. That does not apply tonight, but you could not adopt the final millage rate of 5.8 unless you had 4 of the 5 commissioners supporting. So that may also give a little bit of comfort to the public that to go to that number, if that is the direction that it ended up taking, and it rarely does, that it would take a supermajority vote for the final millage rate.
Thank you, Drew. Penny, you were waving your hands.
I was just saying 4.
Oh, okay. Are we ready to vote now?
Yes, ma'am. Commissioner Phillips,
Yes to the motion.
Commissioner Bellhammer,
No.
Commissioner Cooley,
No to the motion. There's no reason to even hint at raising taxes.
Commissioner Bryan,
Yeah.
Chair Mealy,
Yes. All right, passes 3-2. And again, to reiterate what we've said over and over and over again, we will be having workshops. We will be having public hearings. Everything will be out in the public and people can take as good a look at the budget, the proposed budget, as we can. And we welcome comments at that time, which means that we now have to set dates for those workshops. We generally have 2. If we need another one, we can always set another date. Penny, do you have an August calendar?
I do.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I forgot to put that in the packet. So we only have one regular commission meeting in August. My calendar says the 14th, but I'm pretty sure it's I thought it was the 20th. So, and I don't believe there's going to be I know there's not going to be an annual conference.
Right.
And there will be.
It is the 20th. Sorry, that calendar.
So I'm going to delete that one.
Kathleen, do you know when the other entities are voting or meeting?
That is on your September calendar
Yeah,
that
We don't care about workshops. We only care about the public hearings.
well, we got to set both.
That's right.
Yeah,
though,
I know,
we
but
don't
for
have
the
to worry about
workshops,
conflict For the workshops.
we don't have, okay.
For August, the first week of August is open. On the second week of August is open minus the car board on the 11th, and that's in the evening. The week of the 17th through the 21st, we have a commission meeting on the 20th.
I'm sorry, we have what?
We have a commission meeting scheduled on the 20th of August.
Okay.
And the week of the 24th through the 28th, Primary will be in here on the 25th, so that's not a good day, but it's pretty much open. So you're pretty much open in August except for the 20th, then the 25th, the 11th,
I got a dumb question.
and the
Chair.
22nd. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, ask your dumb question.
Should we not be picking our strategic planning date first?
Larry, what's your reaction to that?
Well, I'm meeting with Nancy tomorrow at 1:00. I don't have a problem with it. One thing about the budget is that I'm not asking for any additional salary. So I'm not sure, Rick, if your question is that should it be strategic planning, should it be an evaluation of Larry Newsom? Budget, because I can tell you, I'm not going to have any impact to the budget as far as salary. The only thing I'm doing is we're going to present it, and I realize this year's been chaotic, just like some of the emails you've read because of this virus. I got to make sure Kathleen has enough time to put this budget together. So, but if you feel like a strategic plan meeting needs to be done prior to that, I don't have a problem with it. And I will tell you, my strategic plan is not going to have any impact on the budget. You're still going to be looking at your capital. You're still going to be looking at living for the employees. So if there's a concern about the strategic plan having an impact on the budget, in my opinion, the answer is no. So if that's a concern, Commissioner Bellumer, however you guys want to do it, we'll do it. But when it comes to the budget, I have to give my budget and finance director time to prepare it. You know, and it's been a chaotic year, which has been every year since I've been here. But
I just always thought that the strategic planning was done before budget workshop started.
You may well do that. The reason actually that the hearings, the actual public hearings for your millage rate are set with setting the tentative millage rate is Penny needs that motion for the trim forms that she submit. So that's
Right.
actually every jurisdiction you will see the setting of those hearings going hand in hand with the setting of the tentative millage.
Right.
That's entirely up to you, but that's why.
Comments, and I think maybe if push comes to shove, maybe I bring my strategic plan at the first workshop. I mean, it's not going to be the typical hanging out of the chambers, nice office, because the chamber doesn't exist anymore. But I am working on my strategic plan. I want the board to understand that. I met with Nancy last week. I'm meeting with her tomorrow at 1:00 because I know that's my responsibility to have a strategic plan. And I'm trying to get something together so I can send out to all the board members. Because we do have we have two new board members that they may look at the strategic plan and go, well, I want to add this or this or this. So I'm doing everything I can. And I'm gonna go back again and I'm gonna apologize. I've been down and out for 3 weeks. This is not the time to be sick. And I apologize for that. I had no choice. However, I'm doing everything I can because since I'm back at the wheel to get you a strategic plan. And I want to get a strategic plan that not only the existing commissioners like, but the new commissioners like. Because, you know, between Commissioner Phillips and also Commissioner Braun, they have some different visions too. And I see the mayor raising her hand.
Yeah. Linda?
I'm done. Go ahead.
Can we go ahead and pick these workshops? I think we can fit in the strategic plan at some point. Yes, normally we do the strategic plan ahead of time, but I don't know if we're trying to cut our budget all the way back to rollback, how many projects we're going to need to be putting in our strategic plan. So I'd rather just go, I want to get these budget workshops going to see where we're at, because not having seen a budget, it's hard for me to decide what we're going to do.
I'm
Like
with you.
perhaps picking a number and hoping it works. So if we could get back focused to the workshops and then worry about the strategic plan later, that'd be awesome. Thank you.
So the only dates in August that you are not available are August 11th, August 20th.
Penny, we're not getting you. Which dates are not good?
The dates that are not available are August 11th, August 20th, and August 25th, and the 26th.
Penny, isn't the primary on the 18th?
I have it in my hold on. The 18th.
So that's no good either.
Why do I have it on my calendar as the, you know what, I probably clicked the one underneath it. So the 25th is okay, the 18th is not.
Oh, okay.
I had plans to be on vacation the second week of August.
How about we meet the first week and the third week? How's that? I was going to suggest that anyway.
I'm free.
That would work great. That would be great for me.
How's that with you, Kathleen?
I'll make it happen.
Perfect.
Okay.
So how about Thursday, the 6th? Is that good with everybody? Can I get
I'm
a
good with
thumbs? I
that.
got one thumbs up.
9 a.m.
Ken, are you all right with Thursday, the 6th?
Yep, the following Thursday, I'll be fishing in the Keys. Yeah.
9 a.m.
8, yeah, 9 to whatever, 9, put down 9 to 5. I have a feeling it is going to be a long day.
Yep.
And Penny, if we meet on Zoom, you don't have to get lunch.
It should be an open bar.
All right, so we're meeting on the 6th, and 2 weeks after that, 6 and 14 is the 20th. And that was the date that wasn't good. Right, the 20th was no good.
The 19th is available. Or the
I have an eye exam and I won't be able to see.
I have a TDC meeting.
How about Tuesday, the 18th? No, that's election day, sorry.
17th.
Monday, the 17th. Anybody good with that?
Is it 9 o'clock we're starting?
Yep.
I think
Yeah,
Eric.
Monday's a bad day. Start
I'm
Why
not
is
good with Monday.
Why is Monday a bad day?
It's a bad day for me. I just got a lot of things going on Mondays, it seems. But
Can we do it the
I'll make it
following-
work.
Can we do it that 13th, the following Thursday after the 6th?
I'm out of town that week. You said you were fishing that week.
No, the following week. 14th through I'll be gone 14th for 5 days.
Oh, so the beginning of the next week isn't good for you either.
No,
We got the 24th and 25th.
that works.
Yeah, but we gotta have
25th.
2 workshops, right?
We've got one on the
Right.
6th.
We-
How about the 25th? I'm good with that.
I'm good with that.
The Tuesday?
Yes, ma'am.
I've got a problem. I was called for jury duty starting the 24th. Were there any trials being held?
I didn't think so.
I also
Is
am
it
called.
federal or is it federal or state court, Jane?
It's the one in Benel.
So the state court, I don't know what Flagler County is doing. I know Orange County has started up. I don't know if they're doing jury trials yet or not.
Because when I signed up, you'd register online now. And they said there were none this week, but that doesn't mean there won't be by then.
Kathleen, you got something?
Yeah, I also was called for jury duty on the.
Oh, really?
And I'm like, I haven't done anything because I was kind of waiting. I'm like, okay, let's see what happens today. And yeah, no.
You're asking carpool.
Yeah.
Okay, can we pick another date then?
Yeah.
21st work for everybody? Friday?
That's the day we're having the audit selection committee, but we can fit that in at lunchtime, can't we? Kathleen?
Oh gosh, I'm sorry, I forgot. What are we doing on the 21st?
The 21st is the audit selection committee.
We can move that.
Yeah.
We can move that, good, okay. All right, so the 21st?
21st?
Yes,
21st, did you say 21? Okay,
yeah, Debbie, that's all right with you?
21, yes.
Eric? Okay, and Ken?
Yeah, it looks good.
Okay, so the 6th and the 21st.
Yep.
Okay. So these are the workshops. And should we pick the public hearings now as well? Okay.
That's the one that you actually need to do tonight.
Yeah.
Well, no, well, yeah, okay.
Really, that's the one that needs to be done tonight.
Right, and your options are limited on this because they have to be, what is it, weeks apart or 10 days apart, something like that, 14 days. And they can't fall with other government budget meetings. So your options are the 3rd and the 17th.
Kenny, when you say other government meetings, you mean just the county or Palm Coast?
Other taxing authorities, and we are also in a dual county, so we have Volusia and Flagler too.
We have to basically, when it comes to, like you say, the other taxing authorities.
It's the counties and the school boards, not the other municipalities.
Okay.
Right. But we have Volusia and Flagler. So your options are the 3rd and the 17th, the 4th and the 18th, or the 16th and the 30th.
I'll let you guys figure that one out. I'll be back.
I'm free for everything.
Do it again, Penny, I'm sorry, 3 and,
The 3rd and the 17th,
okay.
or the 4th and the 18th, or the 16th and the 30th.
I'm gonna suggest we go with the latest one, just in case we need a 3rd workshop. Given tonight's discussion, I'm having a feeling that we're not gonna whiz through the budget.
Excuse me.
So is everybody okay with the 16th and the 30th?
Yeah, I'm open at this point.
And on this
That's
one,
good.
so that Penny has a record, especially since we're doing it through Zoom, maybe a motion to set the first and second public hearings for your budget process.
Okay. Let's make sure, is everybody all right with the 16th and the 30th? Okay, thumbs up. Debbie?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay.
501? Is it at
Yeah,
501?
501, right.
Okay.
Eric? Okay, and Ken, you all right with those?
That's the 16th and the 30th?
Yes, at 5:01.
Okay,
Is that okay with you?
it should be, yeah. That should be
Okay.
fine.
Okay. All right. And that gives us some room to, in case we need a third workshop. All right, so I'll entertain a motion. There's no public comment on this, is there? No. Penny, did you receive anything?
I'm checking to see if any. Yes. No.
No?
I'll make a motion that we set our budget hearing dates at September 16th and 30th, 2020 at 5:01 PM.
Is there a
I'll second. I'll second.
Debbie seconds, okay.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Commissioner Phillips,
Yes.
Commissioner Belhumeur,
Yes.
Commissioner Cooley,
Yes to the motion.
Commissioner Bryan,
Yes.
Chair Mealy.
Yes. Moving on to number 10. Somebody saying something?
Kathleen said bye.
All right, number 10 is to reconsider an interlocal agreement between Flagler County, Benil, Palm Coast, and the city of Flagler Beach regarding the provision of cold weather shelter services for the homeless. And Debbie, you had a comment you wanted to make?
No.
No? Okay. Anybody else? We discussed this.
Right.
Did Larry come back? Was Larry that wanted to talk about this?
Yeah. I had a chat with him, and like he said, it's an up to that $6,000, I believe it was, but not beyond. And I think with the year we got coming and asking for certain things from the county, and the fact that we've had a couple of pretty mild winters where it really wasn't too necessary. Hopefully that'll keep going. But I think just to keep everybody on, on happy ground, that we go ahead and approve this agreement.
Okay, anybody else?
Ken Bryan.
You go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's also a good humanitarian type of a move as far as the city is concerned. In light of the fact that, we've had a pretty tough 6 months and a lot of people have been unfortunate with jobs and things of this nature, we're not quite sure who might fall in the category of, being unfortunately homeless. I was on the homeless board in St. Johns County, and it's pretty bad when you see the condition that some folks fall into, and many times it's not because of their own choosing. So I think in addition of it being a good partnership with the county, it's also a good humanitarian type thing that we should make available.
Okay, anybody else? I know we had concerns about the equitableness of the distribution of the money, but we seem to be feeling differently now. So if there's no further discussion, Annie, did anybody write in about this one?
She shook her head no, Jane.
Oh, okay, I wasn't sure. So I'll look for a motion.
I'll make a motion.
to approve.
Good.
Everyone's gonna do it. Go ahead. Go ahead, Chairman.
Go ahead, Ken.
All right, Ken, you
Okay,
go ahead.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve it. I don't have it in front of me, but
All right, the motion is to sign, I guess, the interlocal agreement between
I'm gonna look with this county.
for cold weather shelter services.
I'll second.
Okay. Exactly. I make a motion as so stated by the chairman.
Who can't make a motion?
Yeah, I'll second.
Commissioner Bryan,
Yes.
Commissioner Cooley,
Yes to the motion.
Commissioner Bell,
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Commissioner
Oh,
Phillips,
Yes.
Commissioner Mealy,
Yes. All right, number 11, resolution 2020-22.
Resolution 2020-22, a resolution of the City of Flagler Beach requiring the wearing of face coverings within city facilities by in-person attendees of city meetings, providing alternative methods of viewing and participation by those unable or unwilling to wear a face covering, providing for enforcement and compliance measures, providing an effective date.
Okay, does anybody have any comments, questions, concerns?
No concerns here.
No concerns here.
Nope.
Eric?
So it can be assumed that our next meeting will not be a Zoom meeting, correct?
I don't know. I know we're having a lot of trouble with the technology today.
Yeah, I'd like to go back to in-person meetings and see how it goes with the
If
masks.
we can guarantee that this will work, I'm willing to, yes.
We're not gonna know until we try, so.
So what do we do with the Bob Snyder's recommendation that we not?
I think we other than one hiccup during 1 week, I don't think we really had any issues with our in-person meetings. So I'd like to see us go back to them as well.
Yeah, and I would too, as long as everybody wears a mask.
I totally agree.
Okay,
Well, then we need to pass this ordinance.
yeah, I guess we do.
A resolution.
Resolution. Okay, so any other comments before we? Okay. We didn't do, somebody say they want to pass the resolution.
I'd like to make a motion to pass resolution 2020-22, a resolution of the City of Flagler Beach requiring the wearing of face coverings within city facilities by in-person attendees.
Second.
And Chair, I'm sorry, did you ask Penny if she had any public comment on this?
I will before we vote.
I recorded Debbie as the second and chimed in before you.
Okay, were there any public comment?
No, ma'am. You ready?
Go ahead.
Commissioner Phillips,
Yes.
Commissioner Belhumeur,
Yes.
Commissioner Cooley,
Yes, the motion.
Commissioner Bryan,
Absolutely, yes.
Chair Mealy,
Yes. Are they degrees of yes? All right, number 12, resolution 2020-23.
Resolution 2020-23, a resolution of the City of Flagler Beach creating a limited duration program for city payment towards city building permit application fees for dune walkovers located within the areas of pending beach renourishment projects, providing for conflicts and providing for an effective date.
Comments? Eric?
Chair, I had a comment. Larry and Drew, you might need help with this. Earlier when I was talking to Larry, he indicated that this might not be legal. Do you know anything about that?
This is what I talked about last time when I brought this forward. We cannot waive building permit fees. That's why this resolution is set up to pay from the general fund the building permit fees or the building inspection fund.
So we're gonna have to
Okay, so
raise our
this-
rate to pay the building permit fees?
That's what I brought forward at the meeting on Monday to ask if that was a direction that the council wanted or the commission wanted me to draft the resolution based on, because we cannot waive the building inspection fees.
But we don't know if it's gonna, we don't know if those holdouts by doing this correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm sorry, I had to call the county administrator, let him know that you guys ordered the cold weather shelter. And he is very much appreciative of that. But the bottom line is this resolution going to, based on the attorney or the firm, is this really going to solve the problem? And that's the only question I have.
Linda had her hand up. Linda,
I was just going to say, I was looking at that project today. I know we're down to 13, but there was close to 142 easements. Granted, most of them were the cities, or a good portion of them are. However, this will allow anybody who needs to build a dune walkover for the city to pay out of its general fund $150 per permit. I just think, you know, these last 13 that have been holding out, I see them doing it for a lot of other reasons. If $150 permit is what's stopping them, I will pay each and every one of them individually myself $150. I don't think that's it. I think it's a great olive branch to put out there. I know the intent behind it was good, but I just think we're opening a can of worms saying anybody in that project will now get a free, well, not free, because it will come out of our general fund from the taxpayers to pay for their building permit. If we have a hurricane, something, God forbid, and all those walkovers get knocked out, we're replacing all of them for 5 years.
We'll be using
So
general.
I know the intent, like I said, Larry, was good. However, I just think that we're opening a can of worms by doing this.
Not only that, what the people are getting based on the cost per cubic yard of sand. Yeah, again, I don't have the right answer. I don't. And eminent domain would take up to 2 years. I've been through that process before, government. So there's no good solution. I'm going to ask the board to make a decision. I'm going to keep my mouth shut from this point forward.
Rick,
Yeah, I'm in total agreement with the mayor, and I think I made that same point the last time we discussed this, so I will not be voting for it.
yeah. Eric, have anything?
No questions or comments.
Okay, Debbie, anything?
No.
Ken?
I'm good.
All right, I'm opposed to this. I don't see why taxpayers who don't live on the beach should have to pay for a dune crossover that they can't use. I just don't think it's right. And you're already putting money into the budget to spend if you pass this. I'd like to point that out. Talking about cutting budgets, and now if we pass this, we're adding an expense. All right, so does somebody want to make a motion to approve resolution? Oh, public comment, Penny?
No public comment.
All right, somebody want to make a motion to approve resolution 2020-23?
Chair, I'll make it since I already started. I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2020-23.
Is there a second? Seeing none, the motion dies. Lack of comment, lack of the second. So Drew, do we have to?
You don't have to do anything further.
Okay. Just want to make sure we don't leave out any steps here.
Drew, are you going to let Al Hadid know that this motion on the agenda, or would you?
Yeah, I'll mention it to him. This wasn't one that he was pressing. He was ambivalent towards this one.
I
so
know.
he won't be
Just
heartbroken.
let him know it died on the vine.
He's still on listening.
Oh, okay. He didn't have a life, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, Now we move on to commission comments, and we'll start with Debbie. Do you have any?
I don't have anything at this time.
Okay, move on to Linda. Do you have anything?
Yeah, I just wanted to remind everybody that the CARES Act for individuals opened today at 10 a.m. The business one they've had going on all week. So if anybody's interested in that, go to flaglercounty.org. The application's on there. It's very easy to fill out. And like I said, individuals can get up to $1,000, not personally, but bills paid up to $1,000. So anybody who might be delinquent and say, oh, their water bill or their water bill could possibly get that paid for them, as well as the businesses, depending on their size, can get up to $50,000. And also Saturday morning, I believe it's from 9 to 12 at the WIC line, the police and Flagler Strong are going to be handing out masks. Just come through, they will bring them to your car. I believe each person gets 5 masks. And that's it. Drive in, get your masks, go on your way. So that will be Saturday, starting at 9 at the WIC line. That's all I have.
Is there something that's going on in Tortugas, Linda, about?
Yeah, tomorrow.
Well, tomorrow, yes, there's at 10:30, the first 8 businesses that have received their CARE Act money, they're going to be recognized tomorrow. The county commission, the TDC, Amy from the TDC, and all of us have been invited. So that's at 10:30 tomorrow morning at Tortugas.
Okay. Is everybody, as far as the commission, are you guys aware of this?
Yes.
I sent it to
I
him.
got the email on.
Just
Yeah.
wanted to check. 'cause
Yeah.
I know I'll get the phone calls if you're not invited.
I already did it.
That's all I have.
Thank you, Penny.
Okay, Rick?
Larry, were you gonna tell us what you found out about hogs during your part, or because I don't know, you just said that you got the county involved, so
Well,
I
the
was
county's
hoping
involved.
you'll talk about that when.
To Rick McFadden, as far as they're going to handle as far as the hogs. I don't have a lot of detail yet, and I don't want to make up anything, but I know the county is involved. The county administrator again agreed that his animal control would do what it takes to control this situation, because a lot of that area next to the intercoastal is county property. So I haven't really got a critical path or details yet, but the county has agreed to help us address the issue.
Okay,
But
very good. That's good news for a lot of people, so.
yeah, again, you have an administrator over there that I have to be impressed with, because he wanted us to work together.
Okay,
Unlike
good news.
what up to 4 years ago. But having the details, once I get the details, either myself or somebody on my staff will email every commissioner and let them know how we're going to handle this situation.
Okay, I have another question for you, Larry. The LDR rewrite, how do you have a path going forward for getting this?
Well, we have a path. I talked to Larry Torino today. I'm not happy with the project overall, but it's not that I'm unhappy with the project. But we're not bringing technical specs forward. Matter of fact, on the land development, on the issue about the silk fencing, I pulled that off the agenda. It's not going to the part of the LDR, because I have promised the building and development community a meeting before we start getting into the planning board or the commission, just to talk about it. I'm not saying at the end of the day that we're not going to agree or that we are going to agree. But the long and short of your question is, Soon as Larry, he's gonna send me basically a timeline. His stuff is mostly land use stuff that actually works with the comp plan. And all the technical specifications and all that may come along afterwards and go into it. I'm not gonna rush it. I'm not gonna rush it for the benefit of the building community and for the benefit of us, because I haven't reviewed it yet. You know, if a lot of the building community does what they're supposed to do, but the land development codes don't have to be as stringent. Again, the answer to your question is, as soon as I get what I call a critical path from Larry Torino, I'll make sure the board as a whole gets a copy of it. It's probably gonna be broken up into two sections. One's gonna be the land use section, the other one's gonna be the technical section.
Okay.
If I get that, I'll let you know, but the technical section's not coming forward until I sit down with the building community and development community.
Well, not just the building community, but the community.
Well, no,
You know, everybody's going to be affected by it in some way. So,
Oh, absolutely. It's going to, potentially will cost them more money. You know, and all I want to do is make sure, but the builders are the ones that's going to sign contracts with the people that are going to buy the home. So all I'm saying is, I want the builders to know up front. Because we have a couple instances right now when it comes to sewer connections, which has nothing.
All right, we're getting too technical now. Can we, the answer to your question is, it's coming.
So Jane, just
No, just, it's going on for too long, just,
tell
there's
me to shut up, I got it. I'll get back with you as soon as I get all the information, Rick.
all right, Larry, thank you.
Yes, sir.
anything else, Rick?
No, I'm done.
Okay, Eric?
I have no comments.
Okay, I don't really either. Except that there was a meeting about the Lambert Avenue Swale project. I'd say about 40 people showed up. They were in the commission chambers in shifts. Everybody was wearing a mask. And I think most of the questions were answered. So I'm pleased with that. I'm going to move on to staff reports. Group.
What about Ken?
Oh, I'm sorry, because he's a phone here.
That's okay.
Ken, I'm
used to
sorry.
being- Hey, don't you have to apologize. I've been running up and down 95 for the last 2 weeks, so I don't have anything. No comment.
Okay. That's why you turned into a phone.
I think so.
What do we got here?
Staff reports?
Oh, that's from Al Hadid, okay.
Well, Matt did have another comment on there, but he took it away, so I'm not sure what happened.
Okay,
I answered him and it went away. I told him thank you and it disappeared. So maybe I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, because now I don't have it for the record. Thanks.
But Drew always goes before
I
me.
had no clue.
I'm sorry, Drew.
So
I hadn't said anything yet. I was waiting for you to call on me.
you always go before
When
me.
are we doing your letter?
When you call on me to give my staff report.
Well, I just did.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear you call on me. So that is my staff report. That is my draft of the letter we discussed on Monday, trying to capture the tenor of the conversations you had. This is ultimately your letter, so commentary or changes will not hurt my feelings. It was just my effort to try to capture what was discussed on Monday.
Okay, did everybody have a chance to read it?
No, I did not.
You did not?
I did not.
I did not either.
Okay,
Is it on
did
my
not.
email?
We got it. Yeah, we got an email.
Okay, I will review it tonight.
so that means we can't vote on it till the next meeting, I guess.
That would only seem fair to Larry that everybody read it first.
Yeah,
for,
no,
and
no.
it requires each of our signatures, so I
Yeah.
would think we need to put it off. I do have some comments, so should I make them now or wait 2 weeks?
Yeah, no, make them now.
Drew, the only thing I really came up with is the second paragraph, first sentence. We are mindful of the stress involved, particularly during the challenging times we all face in the current moment. Somewhere down the road, people might not know to the extreme that this current moment is with the pandemic. Maybe that could be a little more accurately described or specifically described rather than just, challenging times we all face in the current moment. Maybe describe the current moment.
Got it.
Pandemic's a good word. Make sure it's in there. That's all I had.
Given that two people haven't read it, I guess we'll save the rest till the next meeting.
No problem.
Penny, you can add it to the, or do we make it an agenda item or just make it part of Drew, your report?
Go ahead, since it was only kind of because of the rush nature that I was bringing it this way, so it's fine by me if you want to make it an agenda item.
Okay, then let's do that. Okay, Larry?
Yes, ma'am. Madam Chair, first of all, let's talk about the CARES Act. The CARES Act, and I've also been working with a lobbyist, but Kathleen's done a very good job because, we're not out of this yet. Kathleen's done a very good job because the biggest expense that the city of Flagler Beach has, and probably with a lot of cities, is overtime. Okay, and I talked to Jerry Cameron yesterday. He said, Larry, as soon as you give me the information, I'll cut you a check. So I want you to know, and again, it just goes to prove the new relationship we have. So anyway, I want you to know that a lot of that overtime, which is probably going to be at this point in time, over $200,000, that we are going to get reimbursed based on the money the county got. That's what I heard yesterday. Bobby's helping me with that, so I just want you to know that we're not losing money on the CARES Act. We haven't lost, we've been paid back for Matthew, we've been paid back for Irma. So, at the end of the day, I think my staff, not Larry Newsom, my staff has done a good job making sure we're getting reimbursed. Secondly, the WIC line, as far as taking care of the WIC line, I think we're getting there. If you haven't noticed, the WIC line, I think, is coming around. The buildings have been painted. So I just kind of want to let you know, if you haven't been over, of course, the grass, we are going out for a new contract when it comes to mowing. Alan's reviewing that right now. I do feel like Vertigo does an okay job, but I think we're paying too much as a city overhead. So either way, the WIC line's coming along. The last but not least is, and I think I talked to the mayor about this, is the FDOT is coming up with a whole new speeding zones throughout Flagler Beach. And I'm going back through those with traffic ops, which is the traffic ops director for District 5 is Jim Strohs. It's funny because I remember his name was Strohs Beard. But either way, he's your traffic ops director, but you have a secretary over there that actually is a traffic ops guy. So I'm asking for a map that actually identifies the speed zones.
We received that a while ago.
Well, I think it's changed. However, there was another thing too that I've got numerous requests about, and you probably got numerous requests about, is about making Flagler Beach a no passing zone. Because we have 50-something intersections. And I'm working on that with DOT. So I just wanted you to know, because I think it's going to be justifiable with DOT based on my conversations. DOT has signed off on the roadway. They still have some work to do on the roadway. I've submitted to DOT work that needs to be done on Central Avenue and the roadways that go from Central Avenue up to A1A. I've submitted a report to them on that. So I just wanted the board as a whole to understand that I'm not asleep at the wheel, even though I've been out for 3 weeks, but it's important because they've been pumping a lot of traffic down our roadway that we have to pay to resurface. And my letter truly, and I can get you a copy, everybody a copy, is basically telling them they're going to pay to resurface. It shouldn't be our responsibility.
Oh, absolutely.
So anyway, like I say, I just wanted the board to know. That's the 3 main things I had. Oh, by the way, we do have 4,500 feet of silt of sand fencing. I'm working with a consultant, an environmental consultant, on how to put that sand fencing in. Once I get the report, then we'll work with the sheriff's department. He's been very good about giving us some inmates to put that stuff up. So if anybody asks you, why are those posts still up on the north end? Tell them that we're probably going to use it to help secure our sand fencing. And whatever we don't use, we'll take out. So if you as commissioners are getting phone calls, hey, there's no silt fencing, why are the posts still up? Let them know. I want to make sure we do this right. And I'm not a sand expert, even having a geology degree, I'm not really a sand expert when it comes to this. I want to know, does it have to be parallel to the roadway, 30 degrees, 60 degrees, whatever. So anyway, I bored you enough with that. Just let the people know that we do realize that we may use those posts to secure our sand fencing.
Great. Thank you.
I'm sure you've already got phone calls on it. So anyway, that's all I got.
Okay, thank you. Penny, you got anything?
Just that, the meeting that I was on vacation, you had spoke about,
I'm sorry, I didn't get one word of that.
the meeting that I was on vacation, you spoke about an issue over at the pier about a sign,
Oh, yeah.
and politically correctness. Janelle took over a new signage over for them today, and instead of, it's really bad feedback, instead of amending the ordinance, which would cost around $1,600, Drew and I were talking about it, and I ended up contacting Municode, and they went ahead and administratively amended it at no cost.
That's a good price. I like that.
So what does the sign say now, Penny?
It now says, instead of husband and wife, it says spouses and their children.
Okay.
Good.
That's it.
Okay, and we did have a comment here from Matt Downey before that, Rick, about the hogs.
Yep.
We saw that.
It said Mr. Cameron provided the name of a trucker that has all the proper licensing, and currently they're trying to set up a meeting between him and Larry.
Okay, you got that, Rick?
I do.
Okay.
By the way, Matt went over and met with if I may, Madam Chair, Matt went over and met with the county administrator and got us another $10,000.
Right. Forgot to mention that.
You know, I tell you, the guy, he could sell ice cream to an Eskimo. Outside of being a great police chief. He's good.
That's good. Yes, I think we know that.
He knows when to talk people off a ledge and when to push them.
Yeah, he was on Pastor Jay's radio program yesterday and he did a great job.
But trust me, I mean, I'm not that I'm scared about my job, but you know, you have good people. You have good-
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Good
All right.
night.
Have a good
Bye.
night,
See
everybody.
everybody later.
Bye.